Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just going to do a video on this Kobe Bryant thing. I wasn't really sure if it's even worth it to talk about, but just to get some points across, and just kind of random stuff. But I've watched a few of the responses to it, and it all looks fake, and I know that people are like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, everything is fake, but everything is fake. I'm sorry, like I have the luxury, I guess, of watching financial commentary 24/7 every day, knowing that they're lying. Like it's not even a debate. And so if I see things that are similar to that, like this quote unquote death, I mean, I'm going to say that it's fake as well. And so no one argues that the financial commentary, in the very least, is nonsense. It's just they're all lies. And negative interest rates and like all this like stock market stuff, as if we don't know that it's only to benefit a few when they're telling us that it's only benefiting a few. And so it's not everything is a conspiracy. That's not true, but a majority of the information that is being shared across these news outlets is fake, and obviously a lot of it would have to do with money, if not all of it. And so that really supersedes even this story. But we know that there's a lot of fake news, and again, our own president calls our news outlets fake, and so this whole world is just completely retarded. But just for the sake of sort of killing time and talking about this Kobe thing, first off, let's think about this from a high level, because my channel is called The Mind of God, and it's named that way not because I understand the mind of God, but I want that vantage point in whenever it's appropriate. And most times it's appropriate, in these days, because it's either God or anti-God, anti-Christ, Satan. And so the way Jesus Christ, who I believe, and through my channel, I encourage people to look into him as the Son of God, the highest spirit on the right-hand side. He loves when truth is shared, when truth is shared, truth, sacrifice, helping other people, gentleness, looking after your brother and even your enemies. This is the standard. This is why he is the highest spirit on the right-hand side, because his standard for love and care for people around us is incredibly high. And he walked the walk. He asked the Most High to forgive those who brutally killed him, on the cross. And this is the entity that we're dealing with. So that's the quote spirit of Jesus Christ. Now, we'd have to think that Satan would be the complete opposite. And it's becoming very, very clear with all these news stories that that is the way it is. And so he likes lies, he likes leverage. He wants people to take, advantage of one another and to worship him. Whereas Jesus Christ, like I said, likes the opposite, loves the opposite of that, and wants all of us to worship his Father, the Most High, and actually call him our Father, And so Satan, again, is directing attention towards himself, and his kingdom is built on the principles that are opposite to what Jesus likes. And so if Satan's in charge of the world right now, and I hope no one would argue that, he's going to want everybody to talk about lies. He doesn't want anything to be truthful, to be discussed. And so he's obviously accomplished that, like I said, in the financial commentary. And he's even accomplishing that in the technical world with the ball earth, flat earth debate. It's just nonsense. I watched Red Pill's debate last night against MC Toon, and it was trash, and so Satan is very much in control. Obviously, God is allowing some truth to seep out, but he's in control of that as well, technical discussions and what we quote know technically. And so this Kobe thing is the same thing. Anything in the news, he doesn't want it to be real. He wants to put stories out there and see how many people will just talk about lies, and like that also, I also kind of have a sense, not just because of the clip that came out of how this crash was predicted, in a cartoon in the past. That's obviously what they've done, and we've seen that with 9/11 and other things, predictive programming. But mostly from a qualitative perspective, it's just no one's sincere. First off, just let's understand this person. Nobody likes the guy. He's just not well liked at all amongst anybody, and not even really his family, because he cheated on his wife and was accused of rape. And so he's just not likable. He's kind of like Tiger Woods. Everybody who interacts with him knows that he's weird, and so no one really actually misses the guy at all. Obviously, his daughter would be a different story, because hasn't had the opportunity to be as annoying as he is. But his teammates and all that kind of stuff, if they're honest about it, he's not well liked, you know, and he did not make the NBA. He's not like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would be different, even though he's also potentially even more disliked than Kobe. He made the whole league, really, you know, and during his rise, and then made it very, very profitable, just like Tiger Woods, you know, and Tiger Woods probably to a bit even more important to golf than even Michael Jordan was to NBA, but similar, you know. And so Kobe was not that person. If Kobe never existed, the NBA would still be very, very popular because of like Jordan and then LeBron and all these people after him. And so it's not like that. So it's not like in a workplace, for example, for us that we can understand, like somebody in our workplace is like doing, you know, a great job to help our company succeed and, you know, really like, you know, towing more than they should, like that's different, you know. And then you would be like, damn, that person's gone now. Like it would affect me personally. This person's out of the NBA, you know, and stuff like that. And so people only care to the extent of him as a human being. And he was awful, you know. He just was hyper competitive, you know, just annoying, you know, and like took basketball so seriously, like it's just putting a ball in a hole and all this kind of stuff. And he's essentially just a corporate, just a good slave, you know, just a good coon. And this is, and he's not making money for the black community, the quote unquote black community in any way. He's just lining the pockets of the owners and all that kind of stuff. And so he's just a good slave, you know. And so all this stuff to me proves and shows the way the world is right now, that everything is backwards, you know. Everything that should be exalted is removed, you know, from being applauded, like looking into things, questioning things, all that kind of stuff, challenging the narrative, thinking deeply and all that. And then just being a good slave, you know, is what is applauded. And, you know, he gets a lot of reverence for that. And so that's what he represents, you know. And so I don't think that he's dead. You know, I don't know what happens, obviously, on God's left-hand side with people, how, like, where they go or where they leave this stage, where what happens. But it's clear that that's the case, you know, that that he's not dead. The whole story doesn't make sense. And also what liars do, and whenever you watch these news things and stuff about the quote death, they just add in a bunch of like random things that don't make sense. Like I saw the first news clipping was like, the guy was like, we know that these two passed away, but we don't know the other 7 or whatever. And, you know, we don't want to just put their names out there, you know, like it's TMZ, like be disrespectful. But the fact that they're doing this is disrespectful, because people will worry like, hey, who was in that, you know, helicopter? You know, I don't know. And then they'll wonder like, hey, what if it was somebody in my family? So a normal news press conference will not release the names to anybody unless they know for sure, you know, unless Kobe goes and gets like you know, confirmed by somebody in his family or whatever, dental work, that's actually him. And that takes time. You know, it's not just the thing happened like an hour ago, and so we're going to publish his name. Obviously you would tell the family, but you would tell the family privately so they can deal with it, you know, first, and then you may take it to the news media, because it may have some impact on day-to-day life, but it doesn't, because he doesn't even play in the NBA anymore. And even if he did, who cares? And so like the whole handling of this story is proof that it's fake. And then when I saw some other NBA players describing like when they found out, and they're like, yeah, this is Charles Barkley. Yeah, I was in a movie theater. I came out, you know, I was like, I don't normally take my phone in the movies. It's like, no one does that. Everybody takes their phone. Where was your phone then? In your car? Like, they add details. What I'm saying is they add details to make it seem like it's real. And Shaq was describing a text message that he got, or his son got in the morning, and all these extra like details, which are just not true. You know, like I guarantee you, if we check the text records, he didn't get a text from Kobe that morning. I guarantee you him and his son did not. And I guarantee you Charles Barkley may or may not even have been in this movie, and he had his phone on him the whole time. And so it's just, the whole thing just doesn't seem sincere. People are crying and stuff, and you can tell when somebody's crying when they lost somebody, for sure. And the reality is, just think of this again for ourselves in an office environment. If we found out a coworker who's just kicking butt, like just does really good work for the company, or did in the past, died, we wouldn't like cry like heavily, you know. We would be like, damn, you know, like that sucks, you know. But no one's gonna like cry like days later and stuff like that, again, because he was an a-hole. Like no one liked the guy. Like he's just weird, you know. And like to some extent you have to be that OCD to be at the top of your game, whatever that game is, basketball, golf. Tiger is just weird, you know. Anybody who listens to Tiger Woods, it sounds like he's like artificial intelligence. Like, he does not sound like a human being. Kobe's the exact same way. Michael Jordan is the same way. All these people who are at the top of their sport, they don't sound real, you know, like they're not just normal people. And so that is what a person is applauding, is somebody who's completely fake and everybody hates him. And so I just want people to know, this world is like, put us all under this like Stockholm syndrome, that we have to like be thankful for our masters and be thankful that we're, you know, oppressed and stuff. But I want people to know, as easy it is to believe that, because again, it's everywhere, I want people to know that's not the way God is. This is a very unique time in human history, and it's written in multiple places in the Bible that this is the worst that has ever been worldwide. It's for a very specific purpose, you know. And so we are not supposed to add to the lies. You know, if somebody, and this is why I can't really interact with people anymore, because even like at the golf course, people will tell me, hey, Kobe's dead or whatever. And my honest answer is, I don't care, you know. And I played along this past weekend, but I'm not anymore. If somebody says, did you hear, I'm going to send them a video on Russian Vids, or the one that's on my channel, that I don't think that it's real, you know. And I'm going to tell them, even if it is real, I don't care, you know, that he's dead at all. His daughter, that's different, because I don't know anything about her. And if that's actually true, which again, I don't think it is, that's different. But again, her daughter, Gigi is 33, 33 is 66. Kobe Bryant's numerology on 33 is all over the place in high school, and Lower Marion is LM. L is 12, Marion is M. That's 12 times 3 is 36, 666. It's obvious that he's on the left-hand side, because not because of the numerology, but because of his personality. You know, the Bible says, judge a person by their fruits. This person is completely antichrist. You know, he is completely against God, when he is just a competition whore, basically. That's not what Jesus Christ is about. You know, I want people to know that from this video, know that that's not the way God is. Just because the beast system that we're in has conditioned us to be that way and then worship people who epitomize that ideal, that's not the way God is. That's not the way the God of the Bible is. And the more that we buy into that, even a little bit, we put ourselves against God. I saw a video of Tahar recently talking about how he's got, you know, 5 different screens up. This is the apostle of GMS, 5 screens, one, you know, Luke Radowski, Dollar Vigilante. Again, he's watching all these, quote, Edomites, trying to get the weather about the end times, talking about how hard he goes for prophecy. And then he's like, you know, I want 3 videos every day. And then he says he's just kidding, because like, others put pressure on him, like that's satanic to do that. And why the number 3 of all the numbers? He keeps bringing the number 3 up. And so even in religion, it's seeped into that mindset, you know, just more work, you know, and that kind of stuff. God is mocking people who buy into that. He's like, you're stupid. Then he's like, he's just going to let people go and do it. If anybody's dumb enough to just be a slave like that, and the pathway that leads down is the mark of the beast. And so God, and we now, and me especially, I don't care anymore. You know, I want people, if they're really into that, you know, Stockholm syndrome, and they buy into all this stuff in the news and all that, even a little bit, just go. You know, I'm not stopping them. That's what they want. Go for it. You know, God has programmed people to be dumb. And I would just say, for all of us who have common sense, just don't get in their way. You know, just don't. As much as we can avoid getting in their way, this whole thing is a complete joke. Flat Earth, Ball Earth is just trash now. You know, we have just a bunch of clowns who represent us, and we are begging them for information, and they're barely giving us anything, you know, that makes any sense. And so we're not getting any good information from the news, obviously, and from the government and all that kind of stuff. So I would just say, for people out there, the Bible says, don't live a beggar's life. That doesn't mean just financially. Don't beg people, Satanists, for anything. These people are out of their mind. That death was obviously staged and just a media hoax, frenzy, for, again, Satan to get off on the fact that everybody's lying about an event that's not even real. And so no event ever of a person's life, and many lives, would come into the news in that way. Never. It just would not. That's completely disrespectful to his family. His wife and the kids that remain, again, they're all alive, but like, they would need to process that information first before it's just blasted throughout all the news, you know, and stuff like that. And so That is not the way it works. And first off, it wouldn't happen that way as well, because we don't know if it was a crime yet. We don't know if that helicopter could have been hacked, could have been some malicious intent behind that crash. There would need to be a criminal investigation first before anything is brought out into the news. Again, there's a process, and so we know real news. We know what's fake news because we know the way real news comes out. If you watch any of these like Dateline shows and stuff, again, some of them may also be fake, but like for the most part, those people have gone through something real, and like they actually document the evidence. They have video interrogations and all that. Like that's harder to stage. Again, it's still possible. I don't put anything past the quote high ups, but that's a real sequence of events. When evidence is collected, DNA, all that, you hear real witnesses and stuff like that, and that type of thing, cell phone records and all that. That's a real investigation. This is just nonsense, and so I don't want people unnecessarily to don't speak lies to defend this system. We're not in that time. God is again using all these things as this last push of nonsense. And I would just say, for those people who we sense are going down that road and deep down that road, the only conspiracies they talk about are Mandela effect or stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with anything, day to day. Let those people go. Just they can go and do whatever they want. They believe that the world is some AI simulation or whatever. That's cool. Go, and if they want to take the mark of the beast and it comes out in their lifetime and it's forced, have at it. That's fine. God has programmed a lot of people to only believe what's fed, through the government narrative. And so I would just say, for anybody who has common sense, the narrative has fallen apart a long time ago for a lot of people, but it's just ridiculous right now. Like it's nonsensical. And I know this especially because I don't have to really push back that much with anybody where they won't talk to me. Like I'll just send somebody one quick video and then it'll be crickets, and that's when I know I've quote won, and that person knows to not encroach anymore. And I would highly recommend people do that, because there's going to be constant desire for people on God's left-hand side to get their foot in the door in our life. And I would say anybody who's dumb enough to do that in the days that we live in now is on God's left-hand side as well. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.